What motivated you to embark on this journey?
At the age of 4 in 2016, when Varda cyclone hit the shore of Tamil Nadu, I was so disheartened by the impacts. Started with the milestone of planting 1 lakh trees, 100,000 trees. I had taken that mission. I was only 6, going to these principals of schools, going to different officers and saying, finally, I managed to convince this one person. This was of 500 trees. Still, for that, I was not able to raise enough funds despite trying everything I could think of.
But you are actively working to transform the planet.
So I went door to door to different houses, and sometimes being small is a gift, no problem. I will go to another 100 people. When I was selected for the Prime Minister National Child Award, and during this journey, I have done this with numerous different stakeholders from.
Hi Prasiddhi, how are you? It's so great to have you here with us today. Thank you for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Good evening from India. So good to meet with you finally online.
At just 12 years old, you have already accomplished so much. It's truly remarkable and inspiring. Your work with Prasiddhi Forest Foundation has made a significant impact, and not just in India, but globally. In preparing for this conversation, I came across numerous insights about your journey. And I must say, your achievements at such a young age are extraordinary. The scale of your impact is truly commendable. What I would love to understand is what motivated you to embark on this journey. See, while most kids of your age, they're generally focused on their hobbies, their entertainment, and their play. But you are actively working to transform the planet. So, what was the defining moment that inspired you to take this first step towards creating a forest foundation?
Absolutely. So for me, always from somehow, I have, much like you mentioned, my impact on Earth. I have had this special bonding with Earth, with nature from a very young age. I'm still young, but even before I could walk or talk, admiring the rustling of bees, the buzzing of rustling of leaves, the buzzing of bees, and the waves of seas has been something I thoroughly enjoy. This is something I say that nature is my magical playground where I learn, I explore, I understand. But then what happened is that at the age of 4 in 2016, when Varda cyclone hit the shore of Tamil Nadu, I was so disheartened by the impacts. I was devastated by what happened. And that is why I decided that I wanted to do something for my tree friends. Because treating trees like my friends, when I saw trees getting uprooted, road flooded, all those different impacts, I said that no, I will do something from my side for my tree friends. I will take real action. And from there, my journey actually started with that motive to support Mother Nature. And after participating in tree plantation drives for more than 2 good years, from the age of 4 to the age of 6, so from 2016 to 2018, after learning how tree plantation is done, how the maintenance is done, germination, tree plantation, gardening, the planting indigenous trees, looking after the trees, not doing monoculture, making my own learnings by talking to experts, NGOs, foundations, as well as getting the local traditional knowledge from farmers and villagers, and also learning about it by doing it myself. Through this, I understood, and then I decided that I want to create my own forest. I want to create my own mission. And that is how, at the age of 6, I decided that I'll create Prasiddhi Forest Foundation. And from there, the tree plantation journey actually started.
How did you secure this land for planting all these trees? Did individuals willingly offer their land or was it a government owned land? And secondly, what were the initial challenges you faced in acquiring the space to start Prasiddhi Forest Foundation work? I mean, land is a heavy problem in India and land is a very scarce commodity with such a huge population.
So for in my case, till now I have planted 150,000 trees in 110 different locations. And during this journey, I have done this with numerous different stakeholders from from villagers, farmers, rural government schools, otherwise different schools, NGOs, different places. And what I do is, for instance, let me tell you how the journey actually started, how the first plantation started. So I had decided that I wanted to plant. The journey started with the milestone of planting 1 lakh trees, 100,000 trees. I had taken that mission. I was only 6, but I had a little bit of knowledge about tree plantation, nothing more than that, and a fuel of imagination and a zeal to make change happen. But besides this, in terms of expertise or funding or experience, I had absolutely nothing. That is how it started. But I knew one thing, that to plant a tree, you need water, you need soil, you need a place, and you need to look after it. This much I had learned, and a few more tips I had understood through my experience. Then I said, okay, so if I need land, I need a place to plant it. So I decided I'll do it in government schools or rural schools, because over there, at least what will happen, that children can look after it, and secondly, I can spread awareness about environment to them. So that I decided. Then I decided to plant fruit trees, because have you ever, because I wanted to support biodiversity. I wanted to support birds, squirrels,
Yes, they
how
are the
how
ones
they.
who suffer the most.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to do my part for them. So I decided to plant fruit trees. And my concept has always been, have you ever seen any bird or squirrel swiping their credit
Oh,
card in the grocery
yeah.
store? No, that is true, because they depend on fruit trees. So I decided on that. And through this, I knew I'll plant fruit trees, I'll do it in government, rural schools. And the main people who will be supported through this is the students and biodiversity. But I want you now to just imagine a 6-year-old girl going to these principals of schools, going to different officers and saying, hey, I want to do a tree plantation on your land, that to fruit trees, native fruit trees, and I want to do this. And trust me, now I have done it in 110 places. I have built my community. I've built a network. When I go with some sort of a credibility, people trust me. I have built my
Right.
network. But that time, I was just a 6-year-old girl.
Why would they
But then it
listen?
started. Yes, but then it started, and I went to so many different people. You can easily say at least 100 different people. I spoke to each and every one of them, and everyone appreciated, that you're doing a great thing. You're 6-year-old, and you're thinking about this is brilliant. But no one actually moved forward towards doing
They wouldn't
something.
take you seriously, a 6-year-old. Yeah, she's having
Yes,
fancy.
and they wouldn't move forward. But finally, I managed to convince this one person, this one school's headmaster, and trust me, that day was the happiest day of my life when I managed to convince him, and my journey actually started. But getting a land and doing a plantation are two very different things. So then it came to getting the saplings. How will I get that? How will I do the tree plantation? So I decided to procure it from nurseries. So for that, I started doing fundraising. But how will I get enough funds? So I started selling bookmarks, paper pencils, grow kits. I even have an initiative called Art for Nature, in which through my paintings I spread awareness, because I like doing paintings. So through that, I spread awareness and also raise funds.
Was it challenging to sell your artwork and raise funds for your initiatives? I mean, what obstacles did you face and how did you improve on that? I'm really curious to know.
Well, no, there wasn't I was about to come to that, a collection, because art is one aspect. In major events, it is easy to do it and to promote it, and I did actually manage to do that. Moreover, I was also able to raise awareness, and I wasn't just selling art; I was selling art for a purpose. So that was one aspect of it. But still, for my 500 trees plantation, my first forest was of 500 trees. Still, for that, I was not able to raise enough funds, despite trying everything I could think of. Then I said, where are my funds going? It is going in the sapling, it is going in the nursery, it is going in the people who plant it, in the land, in the leveling, things like that. And the major amount of money, most amount of the funds was going in procuring the saplings. So I said, what if I created my own nursery? Because at the end of the day, I want to plant fruit trees. So I went door to door to different houses. I said, I'll come next weekend, eat the fruit, save the seeds, dry them, and give it to me. And through that, I connected with a few like-minded other children. I created my small kids army, and through that, I created my own community nursery. Later on, kids army became eco army because adults started asking me, can we join? So it got renamed to eco army. But through that, I created my community nursery. The saplings grew, and then I did my first tree plantation, and slowly second tree plantation, third tree plantation, fourth, fifth, 16, 17, 18, till then it was going on. Then I started doing it with farmers and villagers, with them. Then I got associated with panchayats, with government officials, BDOs, block development officers, district collectors, with whom I have monthly meetings, or important officials in the government, the secretary of environment, different people. And through this, now in 110 different places, I have done it. So coming back to a question of land, we have different models, majorly with farmers, then with schools, then with villages or panchayats or government, and then finally with public places or different lands.
Yeah, since trees are like humans, they require care from the moment they are planted until they fully grow. How do you ensure their long term survival? Additionally, what challenges have you faced with deforestation, particularly when trees start bearing fruits and people either take them or cut them down? How do you address these challenges and protect the forests that you are creating?
Yes, no, absolutely. So later on, I moved on from fruit trees to all different varieties of trees, except all of them were indigenous, native trees, native to the soil. And in terms of maintenance, I plant Prasiddhi forests. That is a concept that I've built of I'll say a unique concept of tree plantation. And from the stage of growing the sapling to planting the sapling to getting the land, leveling the land, planting the sapling, doing the tree plantation, to growing the trees and making them into forests. In the whole process, we are involved, because the reason we are planting trees is so that they can grow up and then support the environment and then offset carbon or sequester carbon, support biodiversity, provide oxygen. These are the reasons we do it. But until you don't grow it, it will not happen. So that is why, in terms of maintenance, either in schools, children look after it, or else with farmers, if they can look after it. Generally, that is why we plant with farmers, because they understand the value of trees. They understand how to look after it, and more importantly, the value of each and every sapling. And then if we are doing it in, for instance, places where there isn't an availability of people who can look after it, then we have to assign gardeners. We have to give the salary, who look after it, who go there every day, after 1 or 2 years at least, thrice in a week, on alternative days, so that we can look after it. Sometimes in summer, because in the place where predominantly most of my plantations are there in Tamil Nadu, you might have heard that there are only
Very
three
hot.
seasons: hot, hotter, and hottest. It is incredibly warm. It is incredibly warm, and that is why we have to allocate sometimes people who have to do watering twice a day or at least every day. So, in terms of that, this is how we do the arrangements. And these are learnings I got over a period of time. Because when I started initially, some of my plantations, I have done it 3 times, 4 times. Because first time I did it, people are not looking after it. Second time I did it, water is not there. Third time I did it, cattle came and ate it. Fourth time I did it, maybe the sapling is too small, it is not able to grow. So we need to do at least 4 to 5 feet saplings. We need to give fencing to the land. We
Turning.
need to allocate people who can give water, arrange the water pipeline, the motor pressure. If there are 2,000, 3,000 saplings, the farmer or villager cannot keep, the gardener cannot give water to the plant the whole day, can he?
Mm.
So you need to have high pressure motor pumps, all those different things involved. And now, over a period of time, some of our forests have grown so beautifully. The trees are 12, 13, 14 feet tall, such beautiful forests, an entire ecosystem. In some places, we do agroforestry. So it is agriculture plus forestation put together. So farmers have planted groundnuts or different vegetables below, and the trees are growing up. So this is how we have built an ecosystem.
Did you face any challenges like where you said the cattle are coming and they are eating the trees? Have humans been involved in like whatever you are creating and they are just trying to negate it? They take away the saplings or they cut the trees that are growing. Have you ever faced any such challenge?
Most of the time, what I started to do was create soft MOUs, with them, like a memorandum of understanding brief, that we are planting X number of trees on this date in this place, and the variety is, like these number of these particular types of saplings, and you will look after it. You have told that you will look after it and provide watering to it and give care to it. Through this, there is an understanding. This is what is there. Besides, there was an interesting incident once, actually, in a school of this place called Pondicherry. There was a school we had done in, and then I had come back home, but the next day I got a phone call saying that, ma'am, there were a few children when we came to school. Then we saw that some of the saplings have been stolen. Children have stole saplings. I was surprised. You need to steal saplings. You come and ask me, I will be more than happy to give you the saplings. Because this is not some treasure that they are taking away. It's not money, it's not gold, they are saplings. I mean, Earth's gold, that is something you can say, but they are trees. And through that, I got an amazing idea. I started this initiative called Green Brigades, in which in 200 plus rural local schools of Tamil Nadu, I'm giving a free fruit sapling to each and every child and giving them climate literacy workshops in the local language of Tamil, doing activities, engaging them, creating a mini forest in their schools, native forest, planting 10 to 12 feet tall banyan trees which are already 10 to 12 feet tall, planting them in the forest, at least two to three in every school, and encouraging them to understand this concept. Because if children are interested to take the saplings home and look after the saplings, we will give you the saplings happily. Take at least one sapling home, look after it, grow it, understand how to nurture a tree, how to build that bond with nature. And pretty much this was a challenge, but I didn't realize such a beautiful idea came out of it.
Converting up challenges into opportunities.
Yes, exactly. And challenges are not challenges, but opportunities of learnings. Absolutely.
So when you are doing things at such a big scale, are you able to have funds now? Because
So,
when you need pumps, you need to pay gardeners, you need to have new saplings. So where do the funds come from?
so for funds now, what we have is through different collaborations, or else if I receive an award, if I get a prize money, I direct all the funds through towards my NGO. If there is any kind of collaborations through CSR, through different ways, I'm trying to source funds. And I open anyone, go to prasiddhiforest.org, donate us, support us, because funds is definitely a huge constant issue, right? Because we are not a company. We don't do this for business, we do this for the planet. I do this for the planet, for mother nature. So we are open to any kind of support, but as of now, I have been managing it through different collaborations. Yes.
For those who wish to support or contribute to your NGO, what is the best way to get involved? I mean, are there any specific platforms or channels through which people can connect, donate, or participate in your initiatives? Then I would love to contribute. You're doing a great job.
So you can reach out to me on social media. I'm active on Instagram, on my DMs, or on LinkedIn through messages. You can also go to our website, which is the main thing that I would recommend to all of you. Go to www.prasiddhiforest.org, and over there you will find an option through which you can plant a tree. So you can plant a tree and you will receive a digital tree certificate on your WhatsApp and email, as well as the location of where your tree has been planted, the GPS location, and the project details. You can do that. You can select the project you want to support, or you can directly do a donation through our website page of whichever amount you find suitable.
If anybody wants to join your movement, they just have to contact you. Who has been the inspiration behind all this? Like Prasiddhi and trees. But how important was parental support?
For me, definitely nature was a huge support, and I must say that my parents have played a vital role, because for anyone, parents are their backbone. But both of them are working professionals, so from morning to evening, the regular timings that are there. But they have the biggest thing is they never said no, or I'll say they always said yes to whatever I came up with. No matter planting 1 lakh trees as a 6-year-old child, or going to tree plantations every day when I was just 4, or coming up with ideas and then soon traveling around the world doing different things. So be it accompanying me when I travel in events around the world, or even if it is in terms of saying yes, because they've always encouraged my creative thinking and coming up with ideas, which is something I'm very grateful for.
Can you share a moment when you found out that you have been selected for the Prime Minister's Award? What was that experience like?
When I was selected for the Prime Minister National Child Award, it was I was just 7 years old at that point of time. It was 2021. Um, Yes, it was 2021. I mean, I was informed at the age of 7, but I received it at 8, and I was so happy. You will not believe the happiness that I had. I was told about this, and I was so joyous. I planted a tree in my garden to celebrate my happiness. And then later on, when I had the interaction with our Honorable Prime Minister, I received this award during COVID, so in 2021. And due to that, we were not able to have a physical meeting, an in-person meeting, to receive the award. However, we did interact online, and he shared 3 sankalpas with me. The first sankalpa was to be regular, nirantarta, regular in whatever I do. If I'm planting trees, if I'm supporting the planet, I need to continue to do it. The second one was to stay to the promise I have made to the nation. If I've said that, fine, I want to plant 1 lakh trees, or I want to heal the earth, or I want to promote climate education, then, or I want to plant 10 million trees, which is my new mission, then I need to fulfill it. I need to work hard towards it. And the third thing he said was to stay humble. And that is something I completely believe in. I think that is so important. After a point of time, even I say, if you will stay humble, you'll never stumble. And these learnings, they motivated me. They opened the gate for me to become more boosted and empowered to take this journey of mine forward.
See, Prasiddhi, you mentioned celebrating by planting a tree, which is quite the opposite of how most people, like adults and kids both, they typically celebrate. Many mark occasions with parties, dining out, gatherings that often generate more waste. But your celebration is totally different. Celebrate by planting a tree. So, what message would you like to share with children your age, who are the future stewards of our planet, about celebrating in a way that gives back to Mother Earth?
So personally, let me tell you, because being a child myself, I correlate with all the children who want to make a difference, who want to make change happen. And now, having have been to conferences like the United Nations Climate Change Conference twice in UAE, in Azerbaijan, in alongside our President of United Nations General Assembly, or going to different places, from doing tree plantations to lake restoration, agroforestry, working on technological climate technology, or in different sessions and activities, I've realized that all this would not have started without the hope and the belief to make change happen. So believe in yourself, because your potential is beyond what you can imagine. So don't just think out of the box, however, act out of the box, because just imagining is not important. Believe in yourself and take action. Take action, and you will realize that you are on a level where you are making change happen. Stay consistent, and you will see the results. This is what I have realized. And frankly, I'm still on my journey. We all are, no matter wherever or whichever level we are on. We are always growing, always moving forward. That is something so important. And my message would be that dream high, higher than the sky, think deep, deeper than the ocean, and act like trees, bees, and seas.
Excellent, excellent, very
In
insightful.
fact, don't underestimate yourself. The moment we underestimate yourself, we underestimate ourselves, that here I'm only 8 years old, or 6 years old, or 13 years old, or 15 years old, or even 18, 19 years old. What can I do? Right? I'm 12. As a 12-year-old, what can I do? That is wrong. Because no matter how small you are, even a small 4 millimeter seed can grow into a 400 feet tall tree and make change happen. And sometimes being small is a gift. We get the opportunity to learn from adults, to learn from experiences, and to be more adaptable. And that is something we should value and, more importantly, utilize. So think of it, believe in yourself, and take action, more importantly.
See, Prasiddhi, your journey began with witnessing a devastation caused by a cyclone, which inspired you to take action. But from planting your first tree to representing your mission at United Nations, at COP28, at G20, that's an incredible leap. Looking back, what were the key moments that shaped this journey? And how did you navigate such a remarkable plan? This is the in your journey. How and why do you think you were recognized on such a global scale? And if you were to guide a child who has ideas but hesitates to take action, perhaps thinking, I'm just a child, who will listen to me, what would you tell them? By the age of 12, you have reached United Nations, you have attended COP28, and you have gained such recognition from global leaders in this field. What were the key steps that led you to this level of impact? And what advice would you give to young changemakers who want to follow a similar path?
So frankly saying, this journey that has been there, right? It is now, as of 2025, as of 2024 itself, say it's of 8 years now, over 8 years, 2025, nearly 9 years. It has been a long journey of learning and understanding and collaborating, and be it G20 or COP29 or Femina Mama Earth, or my 1 lakh tree plantation achievement, or becoming the brand ambassador for Beti Bachao Beti Padhao for Tamil Nadu government, or child ambassador for the Green Tamil Nadu mission. All these things, you can see that, but for me, there was so much more than just that. Every challenge I faced, every issue I overcame, every time someone said that, Prasiddhi, do you when I said that I wanted to plant 1 lakh trees, one of the person said, Prasiddhi, do you even know how many zeros are there in 1 lakh? That is how it started for me. And at that point of time, I could have become sad. I could have not taken any kind of action on it, but I didn't
Not
do that.
trusted yourself. How can I do this
Instead,
such a big number?
instead I believed in myself, and you know what I replied to that person? That right now you might think I'm small, but like a candle, I can light up the whole world. And I think as young people, we need to become green candles, or candle in anything, not just environment. You want to make change happen, you want to become renowned, you want to become more, you want to become an expert in your field, or grow in whatever you want to do, then start. And don't believe in other people, because I mentioned I went to 100 people for my first plantation, and moving on for the other different things I did, I've been to thousands of different people, met with them, understood and learned. And say for instance, even today, collaborations happen, discussions happen, some move forward, some don't. And I've overcome that. For the first time, there was one opportunity I could won, and I wasn't selected. So at that point of time, or I am not able to go there, or something or the other that happened, and because of that I didn't undermine myself. I might have felt bad for the first time, but later on I realized that things will come and go. I just need to be adaptable, and the best thing is don't get stuck on it, move on. So go to hundreds of people, because my theory is 1%. Even if 1% turns up out of 100 people, that is success for me. And even if one person does not turn up, no problem. I will go to another 100 people. Hopefully, someone will come, right? That is the motivation we need to have, and that is what it takes to move on and to move forward. And you don't need to plant 1 lakh trees, you don't need to go to big conferences, but do something that satisfies you, that I'm contributing in making change happen, I'm contributing in achieving my goal, or supporting the planet, or creating a better future. I think that is the first step to moving forward.
Yes, your motto, one for change.
Yes.
Yeah, how many people does it to create a change? It's just one. And you have been that one.
Thank you so much.
One person is enough to create a change. But it all starts with self belief. However, many kids at your age struggle with that basic self belief. They often think, I'm too young, I'll make a difference when I grow up. But you are a living proof that age is not a barrier to making an impact. What would you say to all those children who are struggling to take action and believing that they have to wait until they get older?
So let us now focus a little bit on the field that I'm in the climate space, in the environment space, the discussions that I have, the ideology that I promote, the climate advocacy that I do. What I talk about is that what we need. I don't talk about what is going on, what others need to do, the necessity of now. And I believe what we actually need right now is a sense of hope, a sense of reality, and a sense of responsibility. The three things vital to do something. Now, sense of reality, most importantly, right? Today, as we face this Anthropocene, the geological age in which human activity has been dominant, we face three central challenges: ensuring human well being, that we never forget, protecting biodiversity, and mitigating and adapting to climate change. These are three main problems. But what are we doing for it? As of now, the truth is, by 2040, 1 in 4 children will be living in areas with extreme water shortage.
That is
By 2050, there will be more plastic in the sea than fish. By 2100, all the rainforests will be gone. And as a 12-year-old child, now I will be there in 2014, 2015, 2030. I will see this, I might feel this. And what are we doing to avoid this reality? But the truth is, we need to face this reality. We need to face that this will happen and is going to happen. That is very important, something that I stress upon. That you might think, if in Antarctica glaciers are melting, it won't impact India. But the recent cyclones have been the biggest example, right? Or we, as Tamil Nadu, recently faced the Fengal cyclone. I faced it, and the impact was terrible. In Philippines, they are facing typhoons one after the other, they have been facing. Or recently, the biggest news, the LA wildfire, the Los Angeles wildfire,
going on.
terrible impact, right? And nature does not decide whom I want to impact, it will impact everyone together. So we need to understand that. But we need to have a sense of hope. Sense of hope is so important, because amidst this reality, people are getting anxious, climate anxiety, eco anxiety, they are fearing the future, but fear will not help. You
Action
need
will.
to have hope, and you need to have belief that your change matters. What you do is important and needed. Like a small 4 millimeter seed, you can become a 400 feet tall tree, but you need to have hope that you can do it. But just hope again is not enough. You need to know the reality as well. And being aware is one part, but taking action is the other. And that is why the most important element is a sense of responsibility. Do your part, play your role, take action, do things, from small steps, from going to the grocery store, or before buying anything, ask yourself, is this the greenest option? Is there another greener option, sustainable option? If you are buying a toothbrush, you might be buying a plastic one, but if you look around a little bit, you will find a bamboo toothbrush. At least in India now we have improved pretty well, and around the world obviously more sustainable measures are there. Or if you are going to the grocery store, don't use the car for short distances, walk. It is good for fitness, it is good for the environment as well. Or if you have to go and buy vegetables, then take your own bag, reusable bag. Simple steps that can efficiently support you.
I came across your videos where you spoke about how vegetarianism benefits the planet and the environment. One common argument from non vegetarians is that plants also have life, so why differentiate between eating plants and eating animals? However, your video highlighted significantly that larger carbon footprint of a non vegetarian diet.
I mean, plants have life, and that is absolutely right. I do not differ with you, because I personally, as a young child, I'm also still vegetarian. And as a young child, I was a meat lover. You would be surprised to know this. I was so fond of meat that I have videos. I like chicken. I mean, I loved that. But when I started to connect with nature, and when I saw what was happening, I said, no, the time is now, and I need to change myself. If I'm telling the world to support the environment, I cannot, because I was stunned that 14.5% of carbon emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, are caused through meat, as in through these
Cultivated animals.
dairy things. So, I mean, even transportation, cars, vehicles, buses, all these emissions combined is still less than what we produce through meat and other dairy based activities.
Cultivated animal industry.
Yes, exactly. So animal agriculture, practically, the amount of greenhouse emissions that it produces. So I decided to do this, and I took a target. For instance, I was in February, and I decided by August I will be a vegetarian, and I did it in July itself. Because slowly, one by one, I was able to achieve it, and I did it. It happened. And you might have cravings, but I managed it. And then similarly, if you can't become a non-vegetarian, I understand, it's completely fine, but at least start by having one meal every week that is plant based, or increase the number of plant based meals that you have, which will help save the planet. So no matter whatever it is, from becoming a vegetarian to taking simple water conservation steps to doing activities that help support the environment, there are arguments on everything, but what you choose, depending on your understanding it, what matters. And you need to become adaptable for the planet. As in, I when I saw what was happening, all my love for meat changed, and I became, this is when I was actually very young. I still am, but when I was 5 or 6, around that age only. So these are simple steps that we all need to take, I believe.
Well, this is a bit complex question, but I'm sure you know the answer. With the increasing demand for agricultural production, genetically modified seeds they have become very common, and some plants have even been engineered to grow without seeds. So, what are your thoughts on the rise of GMO crops? And do you see them as a solution or as a concern? And how do you think we should approach GM technology in agriculture?
So that is one thing. Before that, on your previous question, I think we need to look at the bigger picture. Earth is compromising so much that as of now we have used nearly 1.6, nearly two Earths, to give us what we need to live, eat, and grow our economies. More than Earth's capacity. Earth is compromising so much, we can't compromise a little bit on our food. I mean, we can't even do that much, and we can take all that we wish and plunder and pollute our planet. I think that is what is important. The bigger picture in everything will change our mindset, and the mindset changes, action will come automatically. And coming back to your question, that is why I always stress, as I was mentioning earlier as well, stress on the fact of
BTN.
planting native indigenous trees. That has been my concept from the beginning, because during Varda cyclone, I saw few trees fell and few did not, and that wasn't just because of where they were placed or the air or something like that. It was actually because of a commonality. Which fell down were hybrid trees, and which stood were native trees. Hybrid trees don't have such a massive root system in the wood wide web, the soil beneath. However, native trees that have grown for thousands of years in that soil are adapted to
God.
it, and not only support soil but even birds and biodiversity around. That is what is so important. That is why we shouldn't plant hybrid trees. At least now there is this new concept that in landscaping people are using hybrid trees.
Yes.
Fine, but at least in tree plantation, don't plant hybrid trees that are not just not serving the purpose of providing oxygen and sequestering carbon dioxide, but even ruining the soil and disrupting the ecosystem. So this is very important to switch over to indigenous native trees.
Native seeds they play a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance. With the increased prevalence of genetically modified and hybrid crops, is there a possibility or is there a possibility for a repository or an initiative by the government of India or any other organization dedicated to preserving indigenous trees or those region specific seeds which are indigenous obviously? So if so, how effectively do you think these efforts are being taken worldwide in safeguarding these types of plants and seeds?
So, in terms of repository, yes, there are different steps being taken to preserve our native species, and different say organizations, especially for instance the international organizations for nature conservation, who have been taking efforts, and seed banks and repositories to protect our species. In fact, we also have different native species that we promote and utilize. And as individuals, we don't only need to keep them in seed banks, because over a period of time, the seeds that will be left will be only in the seed
Hybrid.
banks, not in the
Mhm.
soil.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we need to promote this, that I believe is important. And if you will search, you will find that there are multiple different seed repositories and seed banks that are being built, and initiatives that are being taken.
You mean the government of India is also taking some initiatives like that?
Seeds.
I'm not sure about that, but there are efforts being taken in India as well as around the world for seed banking.
Yeah, there's a growing concern about the environmental impact of GMOs as their potential to harm the planet is quite harmful. And at the same time, we have seen in urban settings, many people they prioritize aesthetics when it comes to landscaping and they often choose ornamental plants over indigenous species because of its beautiful visual appeal. Have you ever engaged with an apartment communities or urban dwellers, encouraging them to plant native trees, or even if it may not be visually striking? Since most city dwellers they nowadays live in apartments, how do you approach conversations about balancing ecological biodiversity and aesthetic preferences?
So, in terms of prettiness and beauty, it is a myth that planting indigenous trees is not possible in a beautiful way. Because I, for one, have myself designed and created a butterfly garden, and a project in which we have host plants and natural varieties and pebbles and pots in a beautiful formation that looks absolutely pretty, clouds and drops and flow formations, diamond formations with butterflies coming over there, and sunbathing and lots of different flowers. And it has worked beautifully, marvelous, and it looks natural and beautiful. And most importantly, the reason we plant these species to support the environment is being served. So, this is something that I want to clear firstly. Secondly, I have done different projects, for instance, with a couple of couple of architectural companies. We in different places we have done like resorts or different
Yeah, resorts are
apartments or colleges over there, planting these tree species and promoting this near one of the bird sanctuaries. There was one of these places actually building, so over there with them we had done a tree plantation drive to promote, the native species. So absolutely it is possible. In fact, in some of the construction sites around the border, we have planted trees that grow up as forests, mini forests, and provide oxygen to that area. In one of the parks, we had beautifully made a number, a 99 number, because of one of the celebrations, and planted trees, and people walk around that space. So absolutely it is possible and beautiful, and also native indigenous, supporting the soil and the health of the ecosystem.
in mountain regions like Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. There have been recently tons of landslides, and it is becoming a recurring issue. So, do you know some ways, or have you talked to anybody how to prevent these landslides? And are there any specific types of trees that are naturally effective at stabilizing the soil? So, you have hurricanes and cyclones in coastal areas, and there are landslides in mountain areas.
So, in terms of hurricanes, landslides, typhoons, cyclones, I believe, as I mean, in the US part, it is hurricanes. In India, southern India, it's cyclones. So, over here, in such situations, I think that the most efficient way, I don't think we will be able to get particularly into names as of now, because different locations, it is
Yeah,
different.
different.
Yes, but what we can do is prefer trees and plants which have fibrous roots. Mostly, trees have fibrous roots only, but there are trees which have taproot system only, and so that's why planting trees with fibrous roots, which has a more strong network in the
To go
soil.
deep into the soil.
Yes, who can support the nutritional values, who can support in terms of preventing natural disasters is a huge thing. And secondly, there is this there. I'm not sure, you might have heard of mangroves. So
Mangroves,
mangrove
yes.
tree plantation is one of the most efficient way. In general, mangroves can be planted in most coastal areas,
Coastal areas, yes.
especially estuaries where fresh water and salty water
Important,
mixes
yes.
together.
Bombay coastal
And
area.
yes, estuaries, planting these can protect us from storm surges, and they can prevent different villages and cities from being impacted by these tsunamis and different impacts. And it also boosts the economy, the natural economy of that area, because small fish come, and because so small species such as crabs get attracted to the salt on the roots. So when they come, fish come. It supports the fishing industry. It supports the different people who are there. Then bees come. So the honey, all these different things.
Whole
Birds come for
ecosystem
them.
builds up.
Yes, and not only the economy, but even the ecosystem, because migratory birds come over there to stay. The fishes have their fisheries where they have their eggs planted on the roots of the mangroves that supports and besides it also breaks the waves. So mangrove is an efficient way. Over here, I plant Rhizophora mucronata variety. Otherwise, there are other mangroves like Avencia that they're generally classified as red and black mangroves. So over here we plant Rhizophora mucronata. In other places, sometimes it's also Avincia, and depending on the location, the correct indigenous species of mangroves.
Your knowledge and the way you articulate your thoughts reflects deep understanding of botany and ecology.
In it,
Are you undergoing any formal training in this field? Or is this knowledge purely driven by passion and experience?
No, not exactly. Personally, for me, it was, doing these tree plantations, understanding the knowledge, doing my research. And I'm very fond of books. Above, it's the fictional collection, but below, if you see, there are my other books, which are, all non-fictional. So, from what do we
That's
have?
truly impressive.
From trees to fungi. to
So it's all self study.
yeah, to ecology, natural wonders, secret of nature, to even things on to even different kinds of things on history, geopolitics, all those kinds of things, all the topics, that I am fond of put together, through which I get an overview of this.
That's truly impressive. Being self taught and gaining such in depth knowledge, that too at such a young age, it speaks volumes about your passion and dedication. It's inspiring to see how far your curiosity and your commitment has taken you.
In ways you can say that.
You have already created such a significant impact at a young age. What message would you like to share with other teens or other kids who feel that they are too young and powerless to create any change?
I think the message will be the same, you know, because now it's no longer about my message. It is about your actions. It is about what you do. And today we might be 25% of the population or whatever it is, but we are 100% the future. We are the people who will run the future. So we need to believe that we can build an equitable, sustainable future. We need to work together. We need to collaborate. We need to bring all our resources together and take action. And I repeat, don't just think out of the box, act out of the box.
Based on your journey, what advice would you give to parents who want to nurture their child's potential and encourage them to create a real positive impact?
I think the biggest thing is say yes to whatever we ask and trust us with making our decisions. Because, I mean, obviously, you're concerned for our safety and concerned for our benefit, which is very important. I mean, if we decide something that is absolutely different and wrong, please stop us. But otherwise, we might come up with ideas that might not look so possible, feasible, or appropriate for a child, but we can make it possible. We need your trust, we need your support. Even your yes is sufficient for us to take it forward. And sometimes, for instance, my parents, they didn't tell me what to do, how to do. They just said, okay, if you want to do it, then where will you plant it? They asked me questions, and I was able to come up with my answers and find my solutions. And they've always encouraged having creativity and sparking that bond with nature in general.
They played a crucial role in nurturing your creativity and supporting your journey. So, Prasiddhi, we have a rapid fire round for you. So, in this, I will ask you a series of questions. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Do not overthink. Ready? Okay.
Sure.
What's your favorite movie or book?
I guess I will go forward with Hidden Life of Trees, that is by Peter Walbon. And then there is another book that is, if you are fond in tree species, I found Around the World in 80 Days by Jonathan Rory very interesting. And The Secret of Soil by Christopher Bird and Peter Tompkins. And in movie, Avatar is a nice movie.
Avatar. It's a lovely movie. It's my favorite movie too.
And movie Kiss the Ground is a beautiful film that I liked.
Good choice. So, what's the one habit that you think everyone should adopt for a greener
I
planet?
think one habit everyone should adapt is become conscious, and in terms of conscious, start with simple steps like introspection. Just introspect yourself before doing anything, because now through social media, every second everyone is giving you ideas on how to be sustainable. It's up to you if you listen and actually do it. So introspect, and before buying anything, ask yourself, is this the greenest option? Or before doing something, think of it, how can I, what am I fond of? What do I like doing, and how can I apply it to nature? How can I apply it to save the planet? You are a painter, paint for nature. Writer, write for nature. filmmaker, create films for nature. You are a company, take initiatives to support nature. You work on creative solutions, do things for nature. Whatever you like. You're a baker, bake for nature. Singer, sing for nature. Do anything you can, and no matter how small it is, introspect yourself, and you'll find the answers.
I absolutely love your answers.
Thank
Who
you.
is the most inspiring person you have met so far? Besides yourself, of course.
No, 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 no. For me, that is so. I think inspiring trees. I mean, trust me. Well, there are a few people actually I find quite interesting. For instance, there is Dr. Jane Goodall. I'm not sure if you've heard of her. Studies about monkeys. She's an ecologist,
Yes,
particularly.
I have seen her
Yeah.
documentary.
And besides that, I will say Amina Gurif Fakim, who is also one of on our advisory board for Prasiddhi Forest Foundation, who is the former president of Mauritius.
What's your dream project for the future?
Frankly, I'm very open about it. And I don't want to restrict myself as of now, because I believe that in today's world where every second new innovations are happening, new fields are coming up. But I believe that through different ways of learning and accepting new things, to be a good human, firstly. And then there are these 4S that I want to move on in. The first one is soil that is beneath us, because it's so vast and so incredible and humongous to learn about it. The second one is spirituality, because until and unless we don't know the inside of ourselves, how can we
Yes.
change the world? The third one is sustainability, the way I live, the way I talk, the work that I'm doing to move forward in it. And the fourth one is space. Space, because the thought that Earth is such a tiny dot in the a small planet in the solar system, let alone in the galaxy and in the universe, such a tiny dot in millions of galaxies. It just stuns me. Despite being so small, even an ant to a human to an elephant is valued on this planet, and how so much is happening in this one planet. The whole universe might be humongous, which it is. So to learn about it and know about the bigger picture is something I'm also fascinated about.
If you were the Environment Minister of India, you would do great. You would bring a definite change, I'm sure. If you had all the money in the world at your disposal, what would you do?
If I had all the money at my disposal, I think I would work towards building a sustainable and equitable future in terms of doing, actual action on ground, to enforcing policies that stay on for the next generations, about sustainability, to changing our education, to empowering our educational curriculum with knowledge about the planet, about other different skills like entrepreneurship and leadership, so that we can learn more, to working with businesses, so that beyond empowering our economies, they can support our ecosystems, and towards ways of avoiding different epidemics and problems that we face today. Because not just environment, even in terms of health, in terms of poverty, in terms of all the different issues that we face today, right? Ensuring human well-being, protecting biodiversity, and mitigating and adapting to climate change solutions through which we can make this possible.
It's you as the Environmental Minister of India. You would do great. You would bring a definite change. You are giving me hope.
I'm so grateful that I am, and I would be even more grateful that you and those listening take action and do something for our planet, so that we can not just believe in hope, but be the hope, which is
Yes.
so much required.
So, Prasiddhi, if anybody wants to, it's for our viewers, if anybody wants to reach you, they can reach you through Prasiddhi Forest Foundation. You can find the link below. Prasiddhi Forest Foundation, there's a website. And if anybody wants to join your movement, they just have to contact you.
Or you can reach out to me on social media. You can go to my website and write to our to my team, who will absolutely help you in terms of any collaboration or environmental activities. And if you have to personally do something with me or have a question that you would like to ask, on my official email address, prasiddhi@prasidhiforest.org, or reach out to me through social media.
Thank you so much, Prasiddhi. It was truly a pleasure speaking with you and connecting with you. I'm sure our viewers will be as inspired as I am by your journey. I really appreciate you taking time and sharing your insights with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Namaste. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have an interesting story to share, or if you're a change maker, contact us.